Everyone, can y'all hear me? Yes. So, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak in front of you all tonight. I'd like to take some time to talk about Job Corps, as all of you are aware, in the recent article from Inklink. I know that to me, this is a pressing issue that I feel like all of us should be looking at. My question to you all is, how can you, as the BMA, leverage your platforms? And thank you to those who already have, and give insight to those who want to shut down the doors on our young people. What solutions can we all come up with tonight to keep the doors open? While I appreciate people trying to figure out where to house our students now, we can't give up the fight to keep the doors open. I know many of you here have come from similar places that are students we are speaking about. Look at all of you now. You made it out. But I know that we can agree that you will never forget about those who didn't make it out, those who didn't get a chance to pursue their passion, those we lost to the areas where we wish we could have them back. And I know again that all of us can agree that zip codes don't predetermine the futures of our children. For me, we can't turn our backs on them. We have to try to do something here. Time is against us. So I just came back, to be honest with you all too. I visited their campus this morning. And I got some testimonies to share with you all, 6 of them. I'm not going to say names, just student number 1. Student number 1 said, I came here for discipline, to get my life together so that I can serve my country, the military. What I have found in Job Corps is community, friends that push me to be my best self. Student number 2 said, I have had to get an apartment at 17 years old after the news in order to get my high school diploma. I faced going homeless or not succeeding in the electrical apprenticeship program. I came from a rough home and found success at Job Corps. It will be sad to see my friends get dropped off at homeless shelters in the near future. Student number 4 said, I came here because of the levels of racism and bullying I faced in northern New Hampshire. I was able to be with community that sees me. The staff here actually care about me, and I know they don't do this just for the money. A lot of people in this state have a lot to say about how we're bad kids, and that's not true. Student number 5, I came here to get away from my abusive parents. During the holidays, Job Corps is my home.
30 seconds.
Student number 6, I had hoped to start college this year, but due to the current situation, I've had to start looking for my own place. Many of my peers came to Job Corps facing homelessness. Again, aging out through foster care, escaping domestic violence. Cutting this program doesn't just interrupt our education, it pushes thousands of vulnerable young people closer to the very system Job Corps was created to prevent, the school to prison pipeline. Where the Department of Labor and the federal government aren't simply making fiscal adjustments.
3 minutes.
They are deciding whose lives are worth saving. To me, this is an urgent matter that should be discussed at tonight's meeting. Thank you for listening.
Rich Gerard, followed by Christian Lacoste.
Members of the Honorable Board, for the record, my name is Richard Gerard and I live at 283 Orange Street. On tonight's agenda, you have letters regarding the restoration of the school district as a department. While neither is inaccurate, neither is on point. Explaining there's not much difference between the school language in the current and previous charters is accurate, but it doesn't address the court ruling that created the district after the school department sued to separate from the city. Similarly, saying that making it a department won't change much regarding the budget because of the similarity in the charter language or the requirements of state law doesn't address what did change because of the lawsuit. When I was the mayor's budget director and an alderman, the school district was a department. If I had questions about how many people the district had hired, how many vacancies it had, or most other personnel questions, I could call the city's HR department and get that information. Because of this, as an alderman, I was able to expose the truth behind what was driving the school budget deficits at the time, and, surprise, it differed greatly from what the superintendent was telling both boards. This ability came in handy when I was the budget director, too. The same kinds of calls were made to finance. The then new superintendent didn't like that the mayor and aldermen had access to school data that he couldn't control, and I believe it's one of the reasons why the separation lawsuit was filed. Reintegrating the personnel and finance systems, which you could do with this change, is key to ensuring that you have full unfettered access to this data on demand and in a format that's consistent with what you're used to from the departments. It enables a level of transparency that now does not exist, is not otherwise possible, and that is sorely needed. This change would also get rid of the ridiculous system of chargebacks. Currently, you appropriate money to the schools for police and the repair of maintenance of buildings, grounds, playgrounds, and athletic facilities, among several other items. The schools pay that money back to the city. It's a stupid shell game that ties up a lot of staff time to create, send, process, and pay invoices. Back in the day, departmental expenditures on behalf of the schools were simply recorded on the appropriate state forms. This change would also make the city solicitor the final arbiter of how the charter applies to the schools. How much money has the district spent on lawyers over the years to challenge solicitor rulings it didn't like, such as on the tax cap and whether it applied to them or how it worked? It's one of the reasons why they still give you the budget in the format that they do. Since well before my time as budget director, the schools had their own HR and finance departments
30
and
seconds.
outside legal counsel. Making the district a department won't change this. Nobody will lose a job, and no one will have to be hired to do a job. The changes made to state law in 2003 were made so that the charter amendment that passed overwhelmingly in 2001 could be enacted. There is nothing that prevents you from ordering that very same question onto the ballot. Things haven't changed that much, if at all. Without it, you truly cannot hold the district accountable for its spending. Please order the 2001 ballot question
3 minutes.
to this fall's ballot. Thank you.
Christian Lacoste, followed by Dennis Kirkhart.
Mr. Mayor, Board, I'm glad we're all here from Hampton. I'm not at Hampton right now, minus the weather. Do you guys know what this logo is? Can you guys see it? It's the New Hampshire Job Corps logo. 6 years ago, 2019, I might be messing up my math, I graduated from the program. There's 256 kids that don't know what the hell they're doing right now. There are 17-year-olds, as Jason said, that are signing leases on apartments. Did any of you sign leases on apartments when you were 17? Did any of you know what you were doing at 17? A lot of these kids don't. Job Corps has given them a purpose. And honestly, I know there's nothing you guys can do on a city level, but I know you guys have connections up in Concord. I know you guys have connections on the state level. I'm asking you guys, please help these kids out before we have almost 60 to 70 homeless kids on the streets getting dropped off at homeless shelters June 30th, okay? I'm asking you guys, leverage your ways, leverage your friends. You know, I know you guys got connections up there.
Dennis Kirkhart, followed by Melinda McCusker.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. Thank you for letting me read this super quick and without any eye contact. My name is Dennis Kirkhart. I've lived in Manchester for 17 years. I currently live at 249 Smith Road. It's directly adjacent to the vacant lot 587-12. I'm currently here to respectfully ask the board to consider the decision to sell this lot, or at the very least, to fully understand the impact the sale would have on me and my family and my neighbors. I am a disabled veteran of both Iraq and Afghanistan with 100% permanent and total rating from the Department of Veterans Affairs. Due to service-connected injuries, including PTSD. For me, peace, privacy, and predictability in my home environment aren't just preferences, they are medical and personal necessities. For more than 7 years, my household and the previous owners have maintained a portion of 587-12, and over 20 years ago, the owners that just had it put up a fence on a portion of the land, and we've maintained it since. This land has served as a natural buffer between me and my neighbors and the nearby properties, and has helped create a quiet sanctuary that has been my backyard for almost 5 years. It is not just a vacant lot to us, it is an essential extension of the security and stability to my day-to-day well-being. When concern about a potential sale arose last October due to your program of selling surplus lots, I spoke to Alderman Goodman and expressed interest in acquiring the lot. At the time, it was determined that the best course of action was to do nothing due to the list not being on anybody's radar and the property having legal issues, not being on the tax rolls. Apparently, they've changed that since then. So, with that said, I was surprised and deeply disheartened when a neighbor informed me just this past weekend that the lot had been added to the most recent surplus property list. I don't know what's changed in the recent months, but I respectfully ask the board to take my circumstances into account. I remain interested in purchasing the lot. As the adjoining property owner, I would have appreciated more notice to prepare a formal offer. If it's at all possible to halt the current process, I would sincerely and forever be grateful. If not, I kindly ask that my situation be considered alongside any offer that we may present through the sale. Not all public benefit is monetary. Sometimes it's about stability, continuity, preserving character to the neighborhood. It would be a shame to disrupt what has quietly worked so well for decades on Smith Road. I thank you again for your time, for your service to the city, and for giving me the opportunity to read this. I also swing by the neighborhood because it's a great piece of land. It's a great piece of land the way it is. To develop it would be a total shame to lose that much overgrowth and sound barrier and just overall privacy for a lot of people. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good day.
Melinda McCusker, followed by Glenn Roulette.
Melinda McCusker. I reside at 44 Karen Street, Ward 8. I am here regarding, I am a lifelong resident of Manchester, a graduate of West High School, and I raised 2 children in this city. I am here to speak about 39 Beach Street. This has been going on for 2 years, back in 2023. And as of April 1st, you guys allocated $500,000. Rent is $30,000 a month, which leaves us with $70,000. What is the $70,000 a month being spent on? Are we feeding them? What results have we seen? Are these people getting jobs? Are we moving them into affordable housing? Since Adrian Boulogne parted ways with this city, to my knowledge, we have not seen any updates as to what's going on with this facility. We have allocated millions of dollars. Even though they are federal funds, they are still funds. I ask you, between the lease, the funds that are being allocated, how does that join? These funds are gonna end in September, so I'm assuming you're coming back looking for more funds. When does the lease end? At what point do you come to the city residents looking for more money? I've looked at the city website and I couldn't find a plan. So I'm not sure what's going on there right now. It just seems like it's a great big mess. It's being run all throughout the city. You can take a walk around. It's not getting any better. You could take that $100,000, help hundreds of families that are working and are struggling to pay rent right now because of the rising cost. People that are sleeping in their cars at various businesses because they don't want to go to 39 Beach Street. It's a low barrier shelter. People are drunk, people are high. If you were homeless or housing insecure, would you want to go there? We have multiple organizations in this city who are doing great things with a far less than $100,000 a month. We have 1269 Cafe. We have Light of Life Ministries. We have a shelter on Manchester Street. When does it end? 2 years ago, the YWCA
30
came
seconds.
here looking for money to continue their shelter to help women with results that they were getting. You allocated not to give them money. They shut that shelter down. It's now being run by Light of Life Ministries, which is employing people, putting them onto housing. Maybe it's about time you start to work with some of those community partners and figure out a plan for 39 Beach Street. It's about time we shut it down.
3
You have
minutes.
people here talking about Job Corps being shut down, 17-year-olds looking for rent. They're not going to be able to sign leases at $1,800 a month studio apartments if they're without a job. Thank you.
Glenn Roulette.
Hello, I'm Glenn Willett, and I live at 112 Auburn Street, Ward 3. Once again, I want to thank Alderman Bill Berry for turning on the lights in an entire block that had been shut down. In this city, we are growing new property. I guess lights aren't so important. Too many times when the lights are turned off because they burned, there must be a mechanism in this city to turn them back on by just replacing the LEDs. It needs to be done faster and better to keep our city safe, especially in the downtown areas of both the west side and the east side and the very dense areas. The Job Corps. I knew about it a month ago because I knew a couple of employees that worked there. Could not believe that would ever happen until last week. I actually saw their letters that of June 30th, they are no longer employed. So 500 and some odd students who are 16, 17, 18 years old, maybe 19, are going to be shut out. These were people that needed help because they couldn't graduate from high school for whatever problems they had. Some of them have addiction, some of them have behavioral problems, some of them have learning problems. They're succeeding in that program. We were the last state in the union to get that program. This city fought for that. Some of you, in fact, fought for it. You need to notify the state and the feds, your legislatures, to see what can be done. We do not shut programs that literally help people and make them responsible citizens instead of going to jail. It's not right, and it needs to be defended. I'm hoping that this board tonight authorizes a letter to the governor and our legislatures to do something about it, and our state, our national congressmen as well as Senate. The last thing I want to say is that we are a growing city. We are growing more property. How many of those 17, 20 years old are going to be able to afford a rent? They don't have a job now, they're in school.
30 seconds.
How will they who will rent them an apartment at $1,800 or more? Few, if not any. We need to succeed in our programs. That's one that succeeds. So please do something about it. Thank you and have a good night. And by the way, I am thinking of running for alderman in Ward 3. I love my downtown and I want to see more improvements. Thank you.
That concludes our list of speakers, Your Honor.
Thank you.